Hello, class. We're going to continue with the story Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Before we start, um, just a few instructions on how we're going to do this lesson. We're going to be using Pear Deck like you used for social class yesterday. We're going to use Pear Deck again. And these are the steps that we're going to follow. The first thing we're going to do is watch this video. We're going to watch this video fully, listen carefully. Then we're going to click on the Pear Deck link that I've sent on WhatsApp. So when you click on the link, it will take you to a page. On that page, you're going to read through the text again and enter your responses. So when you go to that page, it will look very similar to this video. And you can enter your responses there as drawings or text. And you can read through the text again. So the first thing they'll ask you is to enter your name. And I've asked you to enter your name along with an adjective, like how we did on Friday, remember? We described ourselves using different adjectives. So I want you to choose an adjective that you feel describes yourself and put that in front of your name. For example, cheerful Arpana. So in the next slide, I've asked you to draw or type two things that have already happened in the story. So till now, any two things that have happened in the story, you can draw it or you can type it. On your Pear Deck slide, at the bottom of your screen, you will see those drawing and typing options. You can choose whether you want to draw or type. So what happened in the previous chapter? Today we're going to go into chapter 7. In chapter 6, we found out that 2 people found the golden tickets. Yeah, out of 5 golden tickets, 2 were already found, which meant that there were 3 golden tickets left. And the other thing we found out is that Charlie's birthday was the next day. And everyone knows what's special about Charlie's birthday, right? It was the one day in the entire year that he would get a bar of chocolate. So he must have been really excited. In today's chapter, we're going to see what happens on Charlie's birthday. Quickly, today's objective. We will be able to predict what happens next by asking questions. So predict as in we're going to try to guess what happens next in the story by asking these 3 questions. The first question, what has happened till now? From the beginning of the story till now, what has happened? What will happen next? What is going to happen after this? And the third question is, why do you think so? Why do you think that this is going to happen? So these are the 3 questions we're going to be thinking about to help us predict what happens next. Now we'll start reading the story. As we're reading, I want you to listen very carefully. And if you find any new words in between, you can note it down. Let's start. Chapter 7, Charlie's birthday. Happy birthday! cried the 4 old grandparents as Charlie came into their room early in the morning. Charlie smiled nervously and sat down on the edge of the bed. He was holding his present, his only present, very carefully in his 2 hands. Wonka's Whipple Scrumptious Fudge Mellow Delight, it said on the wrapper. The 4 old people, 2 at either end of the bed, propped themselves up on their pillows. And stared with anxious eyes at the bar of chocolate in Charlie's hands. Mr. and Mrs. Bucket came in and stood at the foot of the bed, watching Charlie. The room became silent. Everybody was waiting now for Charlie to start opening his present. Charlie looked down at the bar of chocolate. He ran his fingers slowly back and forth along the length of it, stroking it lovingly, and the shiny paper wrapper made little sharp crackly noises in the quiet room. Then Mrs. Bucket said gently, "You mustn't be too disappointed, my darling, if you don't find what you're looking for underneath that wrapper. You really can't expect to be as lucky as all that." "She's quite right," Mr. Bucket said. Charlie didn't say anything. "After all," Grandma Josephine said, "in the whole wide world, there are only 3 tickets left to be found." "The thing to remember," Grandma Georgina said, is that whatever happens, you'll still have the bar of chocolate." "Wonka's Whipple Scrumptious Fudge Mellow Delight!" cried Grandpa George. "It's the best of them all. You'll just love it." "Yes," Charlie whispered, "I know." "Just forget all about those golden tickets and enjoy the chocolate," Grandpa Joe said. "Why don't you do that?" They all knew it was ridiculous to expect one poor little bar of chocolate to have a magic ticket inside, and they were trying as gently and as kindly as they could to prepare Charlie for the disappointment. But there was one other thing that the grown ups also knew, and it was this: that however small the chance might be of striking lucky, the chance was there. The chance had to be there. This particular bar of chocolate had as much chance as any other of having a golden ticket. And that was why all the grandparents and parents in the room were actually just as tense and excited as Charlie was, although they were pretending to be very calm. "You better go ahead and open it up, or you'll be late for school," Grandpa Joe said. "You might as well get it over with," Grandpa George said. "Open it, my dear," Grandma Georgina said. "Please open it. You're making me jumpy." Very slowly, Charlie's fingers began to tear open one small corner of the wrapping paper. The old people in the bed all leaned forward, craning their scraggy necks. Then suddenly, as though he couldn't bear the suspense any longer, Charlie tore the wrapper. Let's pause here for a bit. How do you think the characters are feeling right now? They're all gathered around on Charlie's birthday to see if he has the golden ticket inside his chocolate bar. And they're waiting and watching, hoping. How do you think they're feeling right now? Feeling calm and relaxed? Or maybe they didn't care? Or do you think they were feeling nervous and excited? On your Pear Deck slide, you can drag the icon and show me how you think the characters were feeling at this point in the story. What do you think will happen next? What do you think is going to happen after this? Do you think Charlie is going to get a golden ticket? Why do you think so? Why do you think this is going to happen next? You can enter your responses on your Pear Deck slides. Charlie tore the wrapper right down the middle, and onto his lap there fell a light brown cream-colored bar of chocolate. There was no sign of a golden ticket anywhere. "Well, that's that," said Grandpa Joe brightly. "It's just what we expected." Charlie looked up. 4 kind old faces were watching him intently from the bed. He smiled at them, a small, sad smile. And then he shrugged his shoulders and picked up the chocolate bar and held it out to his mother and said, "Here, Mother, have a bit. We'll share it. I want everybody to taste it." "Certainly not," said his mother. And the others all cried, "No, no, we wouldn't dream of it. It's all yours." "Please," begged Charlie, turning round and offering it to Grandpa Joe. But neither he nor anyone else would take even a tiny bit. "It's time to go to school, my darling," Mrs. Bucket said, putting an arm around Charlie's skinny shoulders. Come on, or you'll be late. So, this is where our story ends for today. I want you to take a look at this statement. Charlie gets one chocolate in the entire year, and that's on his birthday. Do you agree with this statement here? Charlie has lost his only chance to get a golden ticket. Do you think, yes, he's lost his chance to get a golden ticket? Or do you think, no, I think it's possible for him to get another one? What do you think? You can drag the blue dot that's down and place it on whichever side you choose. You can do this on your paired X slide. Yeah. Let's go back to the questions that we started with. We're going to predict what's going to happen next in the story. And to do that, we're going to answer these 3 questions. So in your paired X slides, you can click on the draw or type options at the bottom of the slide. And you can draw or type what has happened till now in the story. So in the beginning, we talked about 2 things that have happened till now. In this slide, I want you to put a lot more details. Talk about as much as you can. What and all has happened till now in the story. You can draw it or you can type it. On the next slide, you can type your answer. What do you think is going to happen next? Now that Charlie has opened his one chocolate for the year, there's no golden ticket inside. What do you think will happen next in the story? And why do you think that this is going to happen? Why do you think that this is what you said is what will happen? You have to give a good reason. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. On the next slide, you can drag the blue dot to show how much you liked the lesson, whether you liked it or you didn't like it. And on the last slide, you can type in or draw your answers. What was easy about this lesson? What did you find very easy? In the middle, you type or draw what was interesting or challenging in this lesson. And the last box, what was very difficult about this lesson? What was too hard? Yeah, so that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Now, after watching this video, you're going to click on the Pear Deck link, go to the Pear Deck slides, and enter your responses on all of these slides. I will send you an activity by 7 p.m. Try to finish this Pear Deck slide, this Pear Deck and the activity before 12 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, so this deck and the activity that I send at 7 p.m. please finish it before 12 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you, class.